Hello. My name is Samuel Richardson, and definitely welcome to my YouTube channel. What I would like for you to do before I get started into my couple of topics that I want to discuss today, I would like for you to hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely for 2021, I'm going to be dropping some fire content. I'm going to be dropping some information about all sorts of information about what's going on in our culture, information about what's going on in the world, different topics of things I would like to discuss, marriages, relationships. There's going to be talking about real estate. We're going to be talking about credit. We're going to be talking about finances. So this is something that's going to be very important for everyone just to pay close attention and listen. Listen with your third ear. And that's something that is very important for me in sharing some valuable information. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, okay? Now, let me get into the first topic of conversation. For the last couple of months, I've been seeing on social media a lot of conversations in relation to Kevin Samuels. If you don't know who that is, I suggest you can go to his YouTube page, and I'm not trying to give him any likes or subscribers. What I want you to do is to educate yourself. I think anytime when you're talking about a specific subject or topic, you want to make sure that you educate yourself and use your discernment, because at the end of the day, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Kevin Samuels, there's been a lot of talk about him in the last couple of months, particularly women, and basing on how he communicates to women on his actual platform. But I have my own insight. Let's get into it. Now, with that being said, there is a specific topic. It was a particular young lady that called in on the call. Now, I'm going to explain and give you my insight and give you my opinion on it. One instance when the lady had called in on his actual platform, she wanted to discuss about getting some dating advice. Now, I have to say this. If you listen very carefully and watch the video, he specifically told the lady is that, you're calling my show and my topic is on the banner of my actual platform, that I'm talking about discrepancies or disgruntledness. That was today's topic on that day. And he said to her, okay, you want to talk about, you want me to give you some advice about dating, but you know what my topic for the day is for the show. And she went on to say, you know what, I love your show. And he said, you know what, but you can actually book a consultation with me. He said, you can go to my website and book a consultation. You have to pay for my time. That's business. It's nothing personal. So she went on to say very quickly, oh yeah, I was getting to that. I was going to do that. But I want to get my question. And, I want to get my question out. I want to ask you a question. And then something happened. He said, you're selfish. He said, this is not about you. This is about a topic that I was talking about the whole show, and then you want to come in and you want to talk about what you want to talk about. Now, let's delve a little deeper. Now, anytime when you are a business owner and you have your own profession and someone wants to talk to you about your expertise, advice that you're going to give, understand there's nothing wrong in telling that person, I say, okay, go to my website and book a consultation. I own several businesses. I have that. But let me just tell you from my experience, is that sometimes you'll have people that don't want to pay for your time, but people want free information. That's dead wrong. I don't care what anybody says, that's dead wrong. And I'm speaking from experience. So I did not have an issue when he told her, he said, you know what, you're selfish, but you know what, I'm going to use you as a teachable lesson. And I like that. I like that so far and what he was communicating to her. And then he kept going on in the conversation. I'm not going to get into the depths of that conversation. But what I specifically want to talk about is that he asked her to rate herself on how she looks. And he has this thing that you can't choose the number 7. Now, the reason why I'm laughing, because this is, I think, is the issue where a lot of, particularly women, have a problem with the situation. But I'm going to use this as a teachable lesson, is to encourage, because I believe in encouraging people. No matter if you're a woman, no matter if you're a man, encouraging people. Now, I want you to understand, when he asked her, how do you rate yourself? How do you rate yourself? And he said, you can't use the number 7. She welcomed that actual groundworks or ground rules he had for that conversation by responding. And guess what? She rated herself a 5. She rated herself a 5, man. And she said, on a good day when I put on makeup and stuff, it's a 6. Now, let me say something. It's very important to understand, to all my women, but particularly since it was a Black woman, is that you should never, I don't care how good the man look, I don't care how well put together, I don't care where it appears that he has his stuff together. Let me tell you something. Never let anyone on this earth push you into a corner thinking that you do not look very good. Now, when she put out there and said that she's a 5, that's telling me something there. That's telling me that you don't feel too good about your looks. There may be some low self-esteem that's there, because based off on the conversation of who she's talking to at the time, which is Kevin Samuel, she may have felt a little intimidated. Let me tell you something. In this world, you have to embrace who you are. There's going to be people that's going to talk about you. There's going to be people that's going to say you look ugly. There's going to be people that say that, you know what, you should do this with your hair. You should do this with your beard. Guess what? I don't give a damn. I really don't. I'm married. I'm married to a beautiful woman, my queen. And let me tell you something. She's the only opinion of me that matters, because I'm married. One of our businesses is Cuddle with Purpose, and we believe in teaching couples in how to thrive in their relationships, how to support one another, how to grow with one another. So that was my issue with her for rating herself a 5, because now you're giving someone power and they already see that, guess what? You don't have much belief in yourself. You don't even have much swag in yourself. You don't even believe in yourself right now. So how in the world you're talking about you want to attract men's that's making 6 figures or more? And particularly, he said something very important. He said, do you know anyone, which he's talking about men, that makes 6 figures or more? He asked her that. And then she responded by saying, my dad and my uncle. He said, I'm talking about men outside of your family. And she said no. Now, I'm a firm believer that the people that come into your life and when you're dating, is all about, sometimes it's about the energy that you put out is what you're going to attract. That's very important. Take some time and think about that. Where you're at in life at that specific time, it plays a role in the people or the men that are coming and are attracted to you based off on where you're at. And that's very important. And he went on to communicate with her that, you know what, the problem is that how in the world that you talking about you want someone that makes 6 figures or more, which she's talking about men, and you don't even know anyone. And he said this, because they are not checking for you. Now, I want you to understand. He said, because they are not looking for you. And let me talk about one of the topics, another topic of what he said. And the reasoning for his statement is that, okay, you are at this age, which I believe is 30 something. I could be wrong, but 30 something years old, and you have a child. And he said, men that are making 6 figure or more and possibly don't have no children, they don't want to go through that type of baggage, especially if they have some type of history. He said, why would I go to a woman that don't even look good to their standards, because you rate yourself as a 5 and on your best day a 6, and you have a child, and you in your mid-30s, when I can go to someone that's in their 20s and looks very good, and I can get them to get on my program. Let me tell y'all something. Anytime, and I've been paying attention to this, anytime that there is a man, and particularly a black man, that is very outspoken and is very confident in their stance, women tends to get agitated by that, particularly black men. But let me tell you something. I am a strong black alpha male, and I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to respect you, but I also feel I have the right to speak my mind and to speak about my opinions, because I know I'm not speaking to just one individual. There are thousands of people that are listening to my actual conversation, and there are men that are intimidated, or there are men that are scared to speak out because they don't want to get the backlash from women. Let me say this, and let me be very clear in my stance. Some of the topics and conversations that Kevin Samuels had, there was nothing wrong with it. Some of the issues that I actually was reading was that women have their own issues with his stance and what he said. Now, you can agree with it, but to say that, oh man, he should have said this, he should have said, you don't have that man mouthpiece. And number 2, you didn't create the platform. He created the platform. He created the conversation. Another thing, if a man tell you, like Kevin Samuels did, it's the book of Consultation. He even went on later in the conversation and said to the lady, is that, you know what, we don't have to talk about this right now. Maybe we should, you can book the conversation and we can do this privately. But she kept talking outwardly. She wanted to talk out in public. He tried to give her an out, ladies and gentlemen. He tried to. But sometimes you have some people that do not respect and don't want to pay for your time, because maybe it was a cost associated, or maybe she was just so selfish, like Kevin Samuel said, she wanted to do what she wanted to do. And I feel there's a lot of people that didn't like the fact on how he controlled the narrative of his platform. And guess what? If you don't like it, you can stop looking at his channel. You can stop looking at far as this platform. You can unlike all you want. You can unsubscribe if you don't like his stance. Now, I'm a firm believer the man worked hard and he was consistent to get where he's at right now. And let me tell you something. I support the black brother because I feel in that instant he did nothing wrong. And at the end, that's when he started getting a little rough around the edges by saying, you know what, get the F off my phone. Get the F off my phone. Because he was very serious from the jump. Okay? Now, let's go into another conversation on what Kevin Samuels did based off on there was another lady that called in on the call. I believe when I was looking at the actual video, is that she was on a Zoom call or a StreamYard streaming service live, something of that sort. And her video came on for a short minute, and then I guess she turned the video off. And this is where it gets interesting. He asked her the same question. This is a thing of his that he asked, okay, how do you rate yourself? And you can't choose the number 7. So she went on and respond with the ground rules that he stipulated. Now, if you don't want to actually, if you don't agree with, okay, you're trying to rate me, but I feel that I'm very good, then guess what? You have all rights to not play that game. You have all rights not to respond to that question. You can respond to that question in several different ways. But once you rate yourself, take note, once you rate yourself, then you have to understand he has grounds to respond to you answering that question. Now, the lady has said that, you know what, I know I look good. I'm an 8. And Kevin Samuels said, Now, I seen you on the camera before you turn your camera off. I had seen how you look. You believe you're an 8? Beyonce is an 8. You feel that you look better than Beyonce, or you got Beyonce looks? I don't think so. Let me tell y'all something. You're going to have people that's going to judge you based off on your looks. That's just the world that we live in. But let me say this. Never let someone control how they think you look. If you feel that you're an 8, be confident that you're an 8, which she was. She rebutted against his statement and she kept, moving on with it. But understand that single women, if you are in the single world, make sure that you are very, very careful about the type of men that you want to date. You see, the first lady, when she said, I want to date men that make 6-figure or more, but then you have to understand that you have to take on all the characteristics that comes with that 6-figure man in a relationship. You may be dealing with a man that wants to make sure that you look good all the time. You may be dealing with a man that value your looks more than your intangibles or what you bring to the table. You may be dating a man that want to make sure that you stay a certain weight for the rest of your life. You may be dealing with a man that want to make sure that you're eye candy, or when they go to invest, they want to make sure that you look good at all times. Now, I'm a firm believer that you have to be mindful of who you connect with. I'm a firm believer that you must pay close attention on who you are dating. Because let me tell you about something about relationships, and I'm giving you my personal advice here. And my professional advice. Is that you want to make sure that someone is just not connected with you just by your looks. Because let me tell you something. As you get older, your looks change. As you get older, it gets harder to maintain a certain stature of look. As you get older, you want to make sure that it's not just about your looks anymore. It's about the intangibles that you have. It's about how much you're able to care for a person. It's about how much you're able to support a person. It's about how you're able to have that swag to make someone laugh. It's about how you're able to make that person's day go well or to turn their bad day into a good day. It's about the intangibles is what hold a relationship together. It's not so much about just looks. Yes, looks from the external is what gets you to the first step, or someone wants to step to you. Someone wants to know a little bit more about you. But let me tell you something. If you are connected with someone that just cares about your looks and value your looks as number one, then what will happen if you start gaining some weight? What happens if you get an illness or something, you start taking medication and allows you to gain weight in your face and weight in your stomach area and you don't look the same? Will that man still love you? Will that man love you for better or for worse? Because let me tell you something. No one knows the future that holds for us. We can plan for it, but no one knows the future that holds for us. And it's so very important that you connect with someone that loves not just your external body, but loves your spirit, that loves your soul. A man that loves the ground that you walk on. You know what? No matter what, I'm there for you. No matter how you look 10 years from now, guess what? I still have the same love for you. No matter what, if you come across some type of sickness, guess what? I still love you and I am going to support you. I am going to be there for you and I'm going to make sure as long as I have good health and strength that you going to be okay. See, that is something that you can build with, ladies. That is something that you can look at that man and you can say, guess what? I want to have that man's children. Because I feel, now pay attention to this, the same love that he has for me now, his love for our children is going to be even stronger. So listen, women, and listen good. Is that if you're connecting or want to connect with someone that looks good, which I'm not saying that's not wrong, but if you want to go after someone that's making 6 figures or more, understand that you have to deal with all the other tangibles, things that that man has that comes with that stature of individual that you're looking for. Sometimes you could be wanting one thing and you don't like all the other qualities that they have that comes along with that package that you want. And it is your job, woman and man, when you're dating, it is your job to try to get as much information as possible to know the triggers, to know the so-called red flags, to know what that man or that woman has, and is it really valuable to me? Is it really something that I can take from that man? And where he's at or where she's at right now, could I love that man or that woman where they're at right now? Despite some of the qualities that I may not like, can I still love that person unconditionally? And that's an answer, and that's a question only you can answer. So what I want to leave with you today is to understand something. Have self-love for yourself. I want you to believe that you are beautiful. I want you to believe that you are worthy of having the man or the woman in your life, of someone that's going to value who you are and that's going to love you unconditionally. I love my wife. And anybody that knows me personally knows that I love my wife unconditionally. I love my wife, and what the vow said, for better or for worse. When I saw my beautiful wife, I knew she was going to be my wife the first time I laid eyes on her. But that's me. And I understood I am the type of alpha male is that no matter what happens in our marriage, I'm going to love my wife unconditionally. Even when my wife had 2 cerebellum strokes, I still loved her. I loved her even more. I didn't know that my wife was going to have 2 cerebellum strokes, but this is why I say is that in relationships, you never know what will happen. You just have to make sure that you are all in and you're just not connected to a specific thing. That's not how a relationship works. And see, that's the reason why a lot of discrepancies happen in relationships, because that person may be just attached or value more a specific attribute in what that particular person brings to the relationship. And soon as that attribute gets old, or as soon as that attribute goes away and it's not the same as when you first connected and when everything was all good, y'all was high in love because that woman looked very good. Her body was well put together. Her hair was perfect and she can make love to you like no other. But what happened when those things start changing? Can that man still love you the same? What happens if a traumatic event happens in a relationship? Will that woman still look at you the same handsome man that you was before? Will that man look at you and say, you know, I love her even more and I'm going to make sure I support her. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to help her, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to help get her back to at least as close as she was. But in spite of, no matter what, I'm going to always be there for you because I'm going to ride with you to life. So if you really like this topic of conversation that I talked with you today, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. As I'm excited about 2021. I'm excited about the videos that I'm going to be making on a consistent basis. I'm excited about the conversations because there are not a lot of people that's keeping it real. And on my channel, I'm going to be sharing with on all of my other social media platforms, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn, because people need to hear what I have to say. So please like and subscribe and stay tuned to my next video. Y'all take care and Happy New Year.